Hello, and welcome to the Hardison and Cochran podcast. In today's episode, North Carolina Workers' Compensation Board-Certified Specialist Attorney Ben Cochran discusses various scenarios related to attending workers' comp medical appointments following a work injury, especially when the injury prevents the individual from driving themselves. Now, here's Ben Cochran.
If, as a result of your injury in North Carolina, you are unable to drive yourself, the doctor will provide you a work note that usually includes no driving. If that is the case, if you present that to the insurance company, to your assigned adjuster, or to your nurse case manager, if you do have one, then they will be required to provide transportation to and from the medical appointments. We do usually see this when the specific restriction is no driving. A lot of times there is an objection if there is no restriction for no driving. But then we also do see insurance companies that do provide transportation, even if there is a no restrictive driving, usually to make sure that the claim moves forward. If somebody is out of work receiving benefits and they're unable to provide transportation to the doctor's appointments, then oftentimes we do see the insurance company providing transportation because it helps to move the person that's injured to what's called maximum medical improvement. Because if you're unable to get to the doctor, then the doctor cannot properly evaluate you, cannot properly make treatment recommendations, and then ultimately it slows your ability to return back to gainful employment or to reduce the pain that you have. So a lot of times we do see that number one is if you do have a no driving, that the insurance carrier does provide transportation. And then number two would also be the circumstances where the adjuster believes that it is necessary to make sure that you get to maximum medical improvement in a expeditious manner. But then if we often have seen as well that if you don't have the restriction of no driving and you are being provided weekly benefits, that the carrier says, nope, you're not entitled to transportation. That weekly check that we provide you includes your ordinary costs of living, which would be transportation costs. Then you should help line that up. Another factor that they consider is that through the Industrial Commission, you can get compensated through a Form 25T for mileage that's in excess of 20 miles round trip. So if you have a situation where you are having difficulty getting transportation, you are being required and compelled to go back to the doctor, which is necessary, then what you can do is you can have someone to take you and then submit a Form 25T, and you'd be compensated for your mileage.
We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hardison and Cochran Attorneys at Law podcast. If you would like a free consultation about you or a loved one's legal situation, please go to lawyernc.com. For a full list of episodes, please visit lawyernc.com/podcast.
Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship between you and Hardison and Cochran. Hardison and Cochran does not accept new clients until obtaining a signed agreement. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be intended or taken as legal advice. If you have a legal matter, contact a licensed attorney in your state about your specific set of circumstances.